Welcome back to my channel, Ash Creativity. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do an easy mandala dot art painting. I'm using 400 GSM acrylic paper. I have a mandala art set. These smaller daughters are also used for nail art sometimes. It has bigger metal daughters and plastic daughters. All of the paints I'm using are from Apple Barrel Paints except for Cinnamon Brown, which is from Ceramic Paints. I'm using white, Aqua Sky, bright blue, real blue, cinnamon brown, nutmeg brown, and black. I'm going to start off by cutting my paper, which was a rectangle, into a square. I mixed bright blue with a little bit of black to get a navy blue color, which I'm using to paint the background. You can also use black acrylic paper if you'd like. After I'm done painting the background, I measured the paper and found the center. Then I took my blue daughter, used bright blue, and put a dot in the middle of the paper. Then I mixed bright blue and Aqua Sky. I used a ratio of 3:1 for this. Then I took one of the smaller daughters, placed a dot at the top, bottom, right, and left, essentially creating kind of a compass. Then I continued placing dots in the middle of the dots I had already made to create a circle around the bigger dot. I took a slightly bigger daughter and then made a circle around the dots I had already made using the same color. Used an even bigger daughters to create another round of bright blue and Aqua Sky around the last round. After letting all the paint dry, I used cinnamon sugar and I used the smallest daughter to create a round around the blue dots. I placed them sort of in between the last round's dots at the top. Then I used cinnamon sugar again and used the smallest plastic daughter and used the same method of placing a dot at the top, bottom, right, and left, and then placing dots in between to create another round. Always use less paint the first time you are placing the dot. Once it's in the right position and you're happy with how it turned out, you can use more paint. And now I'm using bright blue and one of the smaller daughters to again put dots between but at the top of the cinnamon sugar dots. For the next few rounds, the rounds are going to get progressively smaller. So for this round, I'll use a small daughter. For the next round, a slightly smaller one. And for the next round, an even smaller one. For this round, I'm using bright blue and a smaller daughter, and I'm placing my dots right on top of the dots from last round. For this round, I'm going back a little and I'm using Nutmeg Brown and a small daughter to place dots on top of the bigger cinnamon sugar dots. Now I'm using the smallest daughter and cinnamon sugar to create a line of 3 to 4 dots between the bright blue dots. Now I'm using cinnamon sugar and a slightly larger daughter to put dots on top of the line of 3 to 4 dots we need. Now, I talked about the dots getting progressively smaller, so I'm going to use a slightly smaller daughter than I did for the bright blue round, and I'm going to place bright blue dots on top of the last bright blue dots. I'm going to do 2 more rounds of the dots getting progressively smaller. Now I'm going to use Aqua Sky in bright blue. I'm using a larger daughter and I'm using a ratio of 3 to 1 for the Aqua Sky in bright blue. So I'm using more Aqua Sky. And I'm going to place the dots between the line of blue dots that we made. the same mix of Aqua Sky and bright blue and using a slightly larger daughter to place dots on top of the last round's dots. Now I'm using the smaller daughters to sort of circle the last round's dots. I'm using the same mixture of Aqua Sky and bright blue. Now I'm using Nutmeg Brown and the smaller daughters to create a line of 2 dots in the gaps that we made. Now I'm using Nutmeg Brown and a larger daughter. I'm using Aqua Sky to create a dot on top of the last round's dots. I'm adding a little bit of real blue to Aqua Sky, and I'm using a smaller daughter to make 2 dots between the bigger dots. Now I'm using one of the metal daughters around the same size as the last round, and I'm using the same mixture as last round, and I'm placing a dot on top of the last round's dots. Now I'm using cinnamon sugar and a small daughter to place dots on top of last round's dots. I'm using the same daughter and cinnamon sugar to create a line of dots around my mandala. I'm creating 2 of these lines. Now I'm using the largest daughter and a mix of Aqua Sky and real blue to place dots in the dips of the mandala. Now I'm using the smaller daughters and the same mixture of Aqua Sky and real blue to again circle the last round's dots. I'm circling them 3 times. I hope you enjoyed this video and had fun creating your very own mandalas. Don't forget to send me a picture of your art at the email that's being shown.